Hello, everybody. Welcome to Cantina Social Hour. Happy Friday. Thank you for joining us this fine Friday night evening. Hope everybody is doing very well. Great to see everybody that is joining us so far. Happy Friday, you guys. Hope everybody is doing well. We got some topics to talk about. I'm going to do a run through the chat here and see who is with us so far. And then we'll talk about what's going on this evening. Jason, how's it going, my friend? Jason, good to see you, and congrats on your engagement. I saw your post. That is awesome. Congrats to you and your fiance. JJ, how are you doing? Cheers from LA, just up the road. Hope you're doing well. We got Adam in the house. Adam, hi, how's it going? Glad that you're with us. Pico B1, how are you doing? Happy Friday to you as well. Thank you for hanging out with us tonight. Nice. Trevor, how are you doing? Howdy to you. Good to see you in here with us tonight. Jeff, how are you doing? Thanks for hanging out with us tonight. Dodgson, good to see you, Dodgson. Glad that you are hanging out with us tonight as well. Glad you did not forget and that you're, in fact, here with us. Yes, yes, yes. Paul, how are you doing? Good to see you, Paul. Thanks for hanging out as always. We got Tim in the house. Tim, how are you doing? Thanks for being with us tonight. Britt, how you doing, Britt? Good to see you. Thank you for being here with us. Jesse, happy weekend to you as well. Thanks for hanging out. And Rebel Intelligence, how are you? How are you doing? Glad that you made it. Yeah. We all get busy with things, but I'm glad that you're here now. Mary, how's it going, Mary? Good to see you, my friend. Thank you for joining with us tonight. All right. So I hope everybody is doing fantastically. Everybody's had a great week. It's now time for the weekend. I'm so here and ready for it. And yeah, good stuff. All right. So tonight we have a few topics to discuss. We're going to talk about new acquisitions, of course, at the end of the show. Anything new I've added to my collection since the last stream, which I haven't honestly added a whole lot, but there are a few things that I did get. So I'll show that to you. We're going to talk about the Hasbro Pulse fan stream and predictions for that's coming up next week. And then we're also going to be talking about Steve Evans returning to Hasbro Star Wars. I think for the first time in like 5 years. I don't remember exactly how long it's been. But I have a brand new guest with me tonight, making his Cantina Social Hour debut, very first time ever. I've been fortunate enough to hang out with him a little bit at a couple of San Diego Comic-Con, and he is making his appearance here in the Cantina tonight. Please give it up for Jason Young, aka WorkMoreOrLess. Jason, how's it going?
Hello. It's going great. I too am glad it's the weekend. It's been a long week, and so it's nice to just like chill, relax here during social hour and chat about the things we love. So I'm honored to be a guest here, and like I said, it does feel like we haven't had a whole lot of just a block of time to just chat, because most of it's just been like at cons and stuff, and it's been a while. So I'm really honored to be here. It's good to be here with everyone.
Thank you. Yeah, no, it's awesome that you're here. Thank you for being here with us. Yeah, so this is your first time on the show. I think we had started talking about this a few months back and just trying to find the right opportunity to do it. But Jason, tell us a little bit about what you do, because you have an amazing Instagram account. I have it linked down below. Tell us a little bit about what you do on your account, and a little bit about your background as a collector and as somebody that works with toys.
For sure. Yeah. I mean, I think just like all of us, just growing up and having the amazing toys and action figures and those things that we now love, and they're all like making their way back on shelves, these 30, 40 years later. It's kind of wild. But, as a kid, I just loved toys. I loved being imaginative and that type of play. And, Star Wars was a big one that caught me, that I've loved since as long as I can remember. Ninja Turtles and some of those it's a lot of fun now to, like, a lot of those I still have, my original toys. And so to have those and own them now, I'm like very thankful to my parents, specifically my mom, who like kept all those things and all the weapons, and it's pretty fun. So I've always just been a collector at heart, and I'm a designer, and I do animation like as my job, my business. And so just the whole like creative side of me is just always enjoyed like toys and action figures. And I would say, and I think it's pretty much around the time of like Force Awakens is when I would say our community kind of really got its legs. And that's when I started learning how to do photography. And with the Black Series line and Star Wars kind of coming back, it's just like those are like the perfect storm. And so I started collecting that, went super, super deep with Black Series, almost like at a certain point, I had everything. And then I was like, oh my gosh, I'm spending a ton of money. And this is just one line, right? So just was exploring photography with toys, and just like you, like having found this community has just been such a reward and so fulfilling, not only just creatively, but just from a community standpoint. And then I can get into specifics, but that's Work More or Less is basically my creative outlet from the daily creative work that I do for my own like clients and that type of work. So
Awesome. No, that's great. Yeah, I mean, I love hearing everybody's stories of how they got into collecting, what it was that kind of, I mean, it's kind of like, I don't feel like I ever one day said, I'm going to be a toy collector. Like, I'm going to do this. Like, it was just always
yeah, for
something I
sure.
did.
Yeah.
And yeah, like you, I think mostly my mom was kind of the person that kind of encouraged it, so to speak. But my dad was definitely playing a hand in this. I talked last week about my very first Batman action figure, which to this day, I don't know why my dad bought me a Batman action figure
Because
when I was
Batman's
like 4
awesome.
years old.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was. But he did. And yeah, so that kind of, I think, was one of like the things that catapulted me into this whole universe.
Was it
But
like the
no, that's
Superpowers Batman, the blue and gray one?
it
Maybe.
was actually, he's on the shelf over there. It's the
Okay.
Batman 89 Toy Biz Batman
Yeah.
before
Yep.
Kenner got right before
Yep.
Kenner got the license.
I've got that one too over here. So
Nice. And
yeah, that
I
was a
was
great
showing
line.
last week that I got a packaged one, and it's like unpunched and everything for an upcoming video that I'm going to be doing in a couple months
Oh,
um,
awesome.
about that whole story. So,
Love
but
that.
yeah, no,
I love
it's
the
mhm.
sorry, real quick. I was gonna say I love the story, the post you had about the T-Rex, the Jurassic Park T-Rex that I believe your grandmother bought you.
Yes,
And like that was awesome. I love that so much. It's crazy like how, sometimes you can associate music with where you were at a certain point in your life. Like when you hear a
yeah,
song, for us, I think, because maybe we were just weird or something, but seeing different toys, I'm like, oh my gosh, I remember seeing that on the back of a packet or a figure pack or, Jurassic Park, seeing like what toys are going to be coming out in the coming weeks. And you like, it's that same kind of like time warp where it reminds you of this thing. So I love all those stories to remind you of like moments with your family or, I think we all have them. So anyway, I just wanted to throw that in there because I love that.
yeah, totally. I forgot to real quick. I forgot to post this on Instagram on my story, so I just did that right now. So I just tagged you in it that we're live.
Oh, nice.
Um,
Nice.
yeah, no, for sure. Like that's exactly what it is. Like the memories associated with a lot of these collectibles, like is it's just like it's just part of you. It becomes part of your identity, really. Like I've talked to my husband
Yeah.
before, like, and he's like, okay, well, because I have a big collection. Sometimes he's like, can we downsize a little bit? And I'm like, there's certain things like I could downsize, but
Yeah.
a lot of
Do you
it,
want to tear apart my soul? That's the question you're asking me.
I'm like, this is my life's work. I mean, it kind of is, so I've been
Yeah.
collecting all my life. I mean, certain things, yeah, perhaps I could do that, but there's certain things that it's just like, I remember the day I got this. I remember the day my mom bought me that. I
Yeah.
remember the day that my grandma, forked over a few bucks for me to be able to buy this
Right.
thing. So I
Yeah.
mean, it's all just like the memories are there. It's a lot of it's so special, and even though we have really flashy toys these days by
Hmm.
smaller companies doing like Hot Toys or Bandai
Sure.
or just whatever it is, like for me there's like no substitute for those like classic, like more simplistic old Kenner days like type figures that
For
you
sure.
know the nostalgia is just too overwhelming, I think.
Yeah. And I think kind of going back to what you were talking about, like with the Toy Biz Batman, I recently have been going, because I think we went, especially during the dark times, like, being home and quarantining, we kind of went crazy, I would say collectively, and we're kind of seeing the ramifications of that. But I think I myself like bought a ton of figures and things, and they started like trickling in, and then I realized, okay, this stuff's great. I really enjoy it. But what I've been doing, like probably the last year, going back and finding those figures that I had and don't have now or didn't keep, maybe some of the more obscure ones, or like even the Batman stuff, and then finding them on the cards, because one is like a designer, I love just the art, right? But like you were just talking about, the whole package, like that, just looking at some of those things and like actually having them in hands that are unopened and just like, minty and unpunched, it's like, man, it really is like a time warp, and it brings back all those feelings and memories. And so I've been kind of going back myself and just buying specific, like not entire lines, but buying figures or buying carded toys. And man, I'm loving it. Spending not as much money, but still spending a decent amount on some of the stuff because it's hard to find. So
Yeah, no, totally. And I think, as time goes on, I have, honestly, I have slowed down a little bit as a collector.
Yeah, me too.
I mean, I think part of it is, I've just amassed like, a sizable collection. I mean, I just published that collection video last week, and it's pretty big, but I think part of it too is I'm trying to like acquire some of the like now they're vintage, right? Like pieces from like the late 80s, early 90s that I grew up with, and kind of trying to relive that a little bit. Because I mean, I do have like, some of the stuff I had as a kid, but unlike your mom who sounds super organized, that wasn't the case for me. I lost like a lot of my figures and weapons over the years and decades. And there's some, but a lot of them I had like, the real Ghostbusters, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Oh yeah.
That stuff's gone. Like I don't have no idea where it went, because I had a lot of that stuff, and it's just gone. So I'm trying to go back little by little. And, thankfully, like Hasbro is reissuing some of these, like Ghostbusters, and Playmates is reissuing TMNT. And, so that's awesome. It's awesome to see those on the shelves again for the first time in all these years and be able to acquire them. And, for me, I'm happy with that. Like I get the package, I get the figure, even if it's not from 1988 or whatever, like it's still, to me, it's efficient. I'm happy with that. But it's stuff like the Kenner Batman stuff, Batman Returns, that, Hasbro doesn't do Batman, so they can't. Otherwise, they would be doing these for sure. That I try and go back and get. Oh my God, so good.
Yeah, this is like part of like the recent acquisitions. So anyway.
Yes. Hold that thought for 1 second. You're in charge, Jason.
Yes, I won't give it away.
You're in charge, but hold that thought.
Okay. Yeah, there's so many great cards, like kind of what we were talking about, and just everybody. It's just, there's something about seeing as a kid, having all of the figures you buy, and then seeing on the back what figures are coming up, right? What to expect. And then what we like now is like the hunt, going after those figures and finding them in the wild. That was just always super exciting for me. And like I said, like as a designer, I really love just the overall like package design here. It's so beautiful. And then they would go through, let's see. Yeah. So just seeing even with the same series, going across from, let's see, like the original, when they started changing the art and doing more like illustration based stuff. Oh, it's so good. So good. And then like, it's funny, like thinking back on, seeing the images on the card backs and thinking, there were people who their job was to take the toys and do toy photography. So even with like the vintage, like Star Wars original retros or series, like seeing just all those figures like on those colored backgrounds. There's just something really awesome about it.
For sure. Check this out.
Yes. So that was I found this one, right? So this was where we had the run, and it was a different version of it. So I also liked that version, so I had to buy it as well. So we're like twinsies over here. But I think I put it away. But yeah, I've got that one as well. It's
Nice.
it's kind of ridiculous, but
I've got a bunch of
it's
them just chilling right here.
Yes.
Sweet.
This is why we're friends.
I think I might have that one right here somewhere. Let me see. Oh, look what I got.
There we go.
Yes.
Oh man, these are just. It's funny. I remember. So this was 1989.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to. It must have been 90 when. I'm trying to remember because I don't remember when the movie came out. If it was like during the summer or if it was like a Christmas movie. Anyway, whatever Christmas was following that when they had all the toys available, my brother would have been, let's see, like 3 or 4 years old, and he loved Batman, and he just wanted like all the toys. So that summer, we ended up getting like all of the figures and like 2 Batmobiles, one for me, one for him, and like the Joker helicopter, and it was like totally epic. And he also got like the VHS, so it must have been maybe a little later. But like watched like, yeah, for a 3 or 4-year-old, maybe this isn't like the best movie, but it's just a different time, right?
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah. That original movie was great. Like I saw it in the theater when I was like little, and I shouldn't have been in the theater to see it, but I did.
I know. Yeah.
But yeah,
So good,
I mean, it's still, I mean, like those toys like were amazing. When Kenner took over the license, that stuff was just incredible.
Yeah.
And it may not have been the most innovative toy line, I would say, but it was everything it needed to be. And they did a lot of stuff with the vehicles and all the different colored Batmans, and it was great.
I mean, if we're talking about reuse these days, and when you see like this same Batman buck, just like every single way, every single color you can think of, gold, silver, navy, black, neon colors. It's just totally funny to see that. Like, hey, that is the best way to maximize your costs.
I have so many.
And as a kid, like, yeah, I'll take all of them because they're amazing.
There were really like all kinds, like this one, and like they came in all sorts of.
What is it, like the Shadow Wing, or no? What was it? Basically, his arms were out at his
yes,
away from his body, and he's got like the cape. I think you like squeeze his legs together and like it would go up or something.
Yep, exactly.
I want to get that one at some point, but that's okay. I mean,
he's in here somewhere. I know I have him in here somewhere.
Oh, I guess I could look at the back of the card.
Yeah.
Guess it's not. They hadn't announced it at this point. Let's see. Yeah, it must have been later on in the line, but good times. Good times. Oh, Shadow Wing. Yeah, Shadow Wing Batman. That one was.
Yeah.
This one is the best though. Even though it looked a little goofy whenever you put the whole costume on, like it looked a little bulky. It still was just so cool to be able to just have all those accessories and make him Bruce Wayne. I could keep going. I love all this, especially again, going back to the things that remind us of the times of being a kid and having those figures and those toys. That was just great memories. So
yeah, for sure. I didn't have the Batmobile when I was a kid. I had somehow or another, I did end up with the Toy Biz one, but I think my mom found it at a garage sale or something, and she knew I had that Batman figure, so she bought it.
It work, right?
Yeah, but I never had the Kenner one because Kenner's line didn't come out, I think, until 1990, like the year after. And by then, I think I had kind of moved more into like Ninja Turtles, but
yeah,
at least until Batman Returns. But I never had the Batmobile from Kenner. And then I think it was 2018. There was one brand new in box from Batman Returns, and it was like, I think it was close to $200. I'm like, that's expensive, but I'm gonna go ahead and buy it, and I'm glad I did because now it's like ridiculous.
Is it really?
Yeah, it's like.
But you said it also had the box too. Like
it's in the box. I have it on the shelf.
Okay. Have
Yeah.
you, are you keeping it sealed, or are you gonna actually
So
take it
I
out?
did open it to like
Okay,
verify that it was in there, and it is. It has the instruction booklet, it's got the sticker sheet and all that.
cool.
And then I
Yeah.
closed it back up and put it on the shelf. I don't know if I'm ever going to
Okay.
pull it out completely.
Yeah. But just like you said, you own it now. You get the
Yeah.
box and the instructions to prove it.
Yep. I got that one, and then
I
I
love
got
it.
the camouflage one, the white and black Batmobile, and then I got
Yeah, yeah,
the uh the Bat ski boat. I got that.
yeah. It's a classic
And yeah,
too.
they're all in the boxes. So I'd like to get another one to open, but I actually, to be honest, I feel kind of fulfilled with the one that came out last year for the Flash, the 4-inch scale one.
Yeah, that looks really cool.
It's decent.
There's just
Um,
there's so many things that I want to buy that I would enjoy having, but then I'm like, I would just buy everything because it's all, especially now. I mean, a lot of the details or the, the accessories that come with toys or figures or vehicles. Just like I would want to buy it all. So I'm running out of space and trying not to get to where I'm not stepping over a ton of boxes, at least not as many as I am right now. So just trying to always be aware because I would want to buy everything, unfortunately. But
yeah, it's tough. But yeah, no, great toy line, and I'm still finishing it up, piece by piece. But I do intend to complete, both the Dark Knight collection and the Batman Returns collection eventually. It might take me
yes.
another 10, 15 years. I don't know, but eventually I'll finish it because I still don't
Yeah.
have the Bat Missile Batmobile. I've never had that one, and I still need to get that
Oh
one.
yeah. That's the one where the sides come off and it's just
Hmm.
the from Batman Returns, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That was
Yeah,
cool.
but I got all the others. I got Batman Forever, Batman and Robin, Batman Begins. I
Cool.
got all the other ones in that scale. But
Nice.
yeah,
Yeah,
animated series. I
that was
got
a
all
great
those.
line. Yeah. That one,
Yeah,
and then I went super deep into Ninja Turtle, like the original Playmates too. I mean, I've got all those sitting over there. The Technodrome, the original van, a bunch of the other vehicles. And again, because my brother and I, we were like 6 years difference in age. So he's 6 years younger than me. But it was crazy because we would end up getting a lot of the same figures. So my parents were buying like doubles of figures. And then we would sometimes have the same vehicles. So I can only like imagine how much money they actually dropped on it. But we've got the collection over there, and it's I wouldn't say it's completely complete. We've got most of the like figure or accessories and all that stuff. It's pretty wild, but
nice.
went really
Yeah,
heavy
that's
into
cool.
turtles and still am heavy into turtles right now.
Sure. Did you ever have any Kenner Jurassic Park?
Yeah, I did. That's another one of those. I remember seeing Jurassic Park. It was with one of my friends, like for his birthday party, and we went and saw that in the theater, and it blew my mind. It was actually on TV yesterday, and we were just flipping through and like, oh, this is on. So watched it with my kiddos, and it's just it's a classic, and it
Yeah.
still holds up today. And yeah, I ended up getting pretty much like the main like core dinosaurs, and I think my brother, I kind of at that point was focusing on um, like some cards, baseball cards, basketball cards in the comics. And so at that point, I think my brother continued to like collect some of the Jurassic Park line. But yeah, especially the first line of figures, the first wave or two, they were so good. Love the ones where you could take like the bites and the chunks out of the
Yep.
dinosaur and see like the
Dino
rib
Damage.
cage and dino damage. Yeah, those are amazing.
Yeah, it was another great toy line. I still have all my stuff that I had from that line because that was like right when I made the conscious decision as a kid to say, hey, I'm not gonna be rough with these. They're awesome. I'm gonna keep the boxes, and I still have the boxes to this day. I made the
Oh,
conscious
really?
decision as an 8-year-old that hey, I'm gonna keep these boxes. I'm gonna keep the figures like
Wow.
as mint as possible. I'm not gonna rough them up. I'm gonna keep them on the dresser or the shelf or whatever. And that's what I did. And they still look quite great.
That's impressive, especially for I guess an 8-year old. Like you at that point, you already knew like I'm gonna want these. I'm gonna thank myself later on in life that they're in good condition and not scratched
Yep.
up.
Yep. I don't know how I did it, but I managed.
Yeah. Well, congrats.
Thanks. Yeah. No, but yeah, that was another great line. And I've acquired over the years pretty much the whole series 1. I haven't gotten all series 2 yet, but I have all the series 1 stuff.
Yeah. I've got, so I, just for fun, usually because I'm not like completely tired or I'm, kind of revenge scrolling or whatever you want to call it, but I'll jump on eBay. Probably a lot of us do too. eBay, Mercari, and just look and see what people are putting up and what are some carded, unpunched figures, like all across the board. The Jurassic Park. I still haven't pulled the trigger on buying any of the original ones, just because again, I don't need to like go down that road, that path. But I've got plenty of them saved. I'm like, this just looks so good.
They do.
And then like if you want the original ones, you're gonna like the first wave, the first releases, generally you're gonna want to pay, you're gonna have to pay more for those versus like the second releases. Or so I'm like, yeah, I don't know if I can justify paying like $80 for one of these carded figures, but even though as much as I want it. So
right. And there's so many variants too with that initial Jurassic Park like series 1, because there's like the black background, and there's the colored background, and there's the cards from the illustrated cards, and there's the movie cards. So I mean, you can buy them over and over. And I didn't need to do that. I'm happy just having like one version of each.
I loved the illustrated, the version that had the illustrated cards. Yeah, and those are the ones that like draw my eye. Just as an illustrator myself, there's just something I really love about that. But yeah, I'm just like, I can't do that. And if I was going to get one, it'd be one of the smaller ones. But yeah, they're so beautiful. And like you said, just like the simplicity of them, even like the 5-point action figures or the dinosaurs that maybe the same thing, 4 points, 5 points. There's just, it's like at the time, like, oh, it's all we needed. We could be really creative and use our imaginations, and didn't worry too much about it. But yeah,
totally.
I do like more articulation now, like especially for actually shooting the figures.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, as an adult, like I definitely appreciate that on new figures. Like the old stuff, it's it's so old. It's like it is what it is. I'm happy with it the way that it is. But new stuff is like it's got to be. I need articulate. I need to be able to pose it and like change it around and stuff.
Agreed.
Cool. Well, I'd love to keep talking Batman, but we have other topics to get to. But I do want to make a run through the comments and see what's being discussed. Greg, how is it going? Good to see you. Thank you for joining us tonight. Britt says that the fun part was imagining why the suit was that color and incorporating into play.
Yeah.
Totally. Yep. Yeah, and I think some of them, there was like the jungle Batman ride, and there was like there was a few different ones, and it was like, oh, okay, so he must have gone on an adventure in the Brazilian rainforest for whatever reason.
Exactly. Or Rainforest Cafe, just trying to like blend in. Yeah.
Right. Public appearance.
Yeah.
Jesse, how's it going? I find the lack of stock in stores so frustrating. It's great ordering online, but it does take a little of the nostalgia out of it.
It does. Totally agree.
Yeah. I mean, I'm pretty much exclusively online now. Like I'm just pretty busy, so I don't really have time to go to stores. I don't think I've been to Walmart since like last June or something. But I mean, when you order it online, you kind of know you're going to get it. And if it's in stores, it's like, okay, my car, it probably is going to get like 13 miles per gallon. Like here in a big city, it's like, do I want to go like hunting for toys? No, not really.
Nah. It makes sense.
Jason or Dodgson's asking if Stormtrooper Blaster really a Batman toy.
It was. I was looking for that. But yeah, here it is. Oh, yeah, here you go. Real quick. To answer your question. Right there.
You go.
The sonic neutralizer. So
as Batman had in the movie, of course.
Of course.
Can't go anywhere without the sonic neutralizer. Adam says, I also remember moments from childhood when I couldn't get a toy. True devastation. Yes. The real Ghostbusters, like I had, all the main characters. I had a bunch of the ghosts. I had the Ecto 1, I had the
Mhm.
Ecto 2. I had, a lot of the stuff, but I never had the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. I don't know why. It never found its way into my collection. Nobody ever bought it. I don't know if it
Yeah.
was rare at the time or what, but I think it was before Hasbro brought back the retro figures, but it must have been like 8 years ago. I bought one on eBay, like in the package, and I'm like, okay, done. Fix that problem. It took me,
Got it. Yeah.
30 years, but I fixed that problem. Rebel Intelligence, when you get to the Star Wars section, I have a question relating to Star Wars. Okay, we'll be happy to
Love Star Wars.
hear that.
Definitely
Yeah,
back in.
Dodged and I submitted my top 25 for March Madness. I hope at least Bespin, Luke, or Han will make the top 10, but I highly doubt it. Yeah, I mean that's your submission, right? So whatever you want to push for, go for it. All right, so we are going to talk about something that was pretty big news earlier this week. Steve Evans is returning to the Hasbro Star Wars team.
Yeah.
So there's
And
a lot of
Marvel.
people are very excited. Yeah, and he's going to stay on Marvel too. I don't know how he's going to do that, but
that's true.
he's gonna manage it somehow. So yeah, this was kind of like by surprise. Like there weren't any indications that this was going to happen, but on his Instagram, Steve posted that he is in fact returning to Star Wars while he's still on Marvel, and that it sounds like there's some stuff he wants to do and he's ready to get to work. So this is really cool. I mean, I always had very positive interactions with Steve at Comic-Con going back to like 2016 or something.
Yeah.
And he was just always very approachable, and he loved to talk about making toys. So this is cool. I know he genuinely loves Star Wars, and he loves what he does. So this is cool. This is really cool. I'm hopeful just to see what if he's going to have any part in this upcoming live stream and what that's going to look like. But yeah, this is cool stuff.
Yeah. He's just like you said, he's such what you see, if you haven't met him in person, like what you see, I think truly is what you get. Like he's just completely genuine. And I just really appreciate that, because seeing him on like through Instagram before I actually got to meet him at Comic-Con, I just had a sense of like, okay, I think, he seemed really nice, seemed really approachable. And then actually getting to meet him in person, I'm like, oh yeah, I feel like you know me. I know you don't. Maybe you know my handle, but I'm still a stranger. But he's just so warm and welcoming, and obviously that's part of the role that he has. But just following him, getting to know him as a friend over the years, and seeing what he does, what he shares, like on his free time with his own, like just curiosity with toys and making things and kit bashing, and sharing stories about his history of collecting and his journey as like a professional in the industry. He's just so fun, and I'm just excited that he'll be back along with everybody with on the Star Wars team. Like it's just so fun and energetic, and I'm excited to see what he'll end up kind of bringing back into it. But yeah, such a solid guy. Really enjoy him.
Yeah, for sure. And I like how he was he's already like posting Star Wars stuff. Like, here's he's looking at the vintage collection and kind of like ticking the boxes on what's been done. And I know something I bring up a lot is for the vintage collection specifically is like Cantina aliens. They've been like MIA like for years now. And when I interviewed at Comic-Con, I interviewed Steve in 2017 about the vintage collection, because it had been announced that it was returning. And I asked him like, hey, we're so excited it's coming back. What can we expect, like in terms of like aliens and creatures? And at the time he said, they're bringing back the vintage collection partially so that they could do a lot of those. But there's been a lot of Jabba's Palace stuff. There's been a lot of great figures in that area.
Right.
But the Cantina is kind of where it all started, like with, for Star Wars, back in the Kenner days, they were making like Hammerhead and Snaggletooth and all those guys. So I feel like they've kind of neglected it a little bit. So I'm really eager to see like now that he's coming back, are they going to try and push for a little bit more in that direction? I certainly hope so.
Yeah,
But
think
it'll
so.
be interesting to see.
I feel like, especially with those types of, I'd say like, tertiary characters, but the kind of background characters, but they've become so lovable for the community that obviously it's on the radar. But I think now it's so broad. Like there's so many like different series, and there's obviously all the different films and TV shows, and there's so much content now that no matter where you focus, you're going to be missing something. But I agree with you. It'd be nice to kind of go like kind of circle back around and get more of the Cantina stuff, because I feel like now with more play sets, and I feel like there's going to be more of a desire to, I guess, even more so a desire to like fill out those dioramas. And if you've got more like aliens, background characters, then I mean, really, they can fit anywhere in any part of those stories. So,
Right.
Yeah, obviously we're missing them, so it'd be great to see.
Yeah, totally. A couple of comments here about it too. Britt loving the checklist. Yeah. I want to see the whole checklist. See what else,
Yeah,
what can't we see that's on this checklist? That's what I want
just
to
such a
know.
tease.
Um,
So cheeky.
Adam, that team will benefit from Steve's energy and spontaneity, things that become scripted and
100%.
repetitive. And yeah, I think that does come through at times, it does seem a bit like that. Rebel Intelligence, is there any chance Hasbro is going to make a separate through the corner stab apart from the one that comes with the ghost? Yeah, I think so. I mean, they're doing like the earlier Rebels, right? I think they had kind of pipelined a little while back.
Yeah, I believe so. I mean, I don't think they would go down that line and not. I mean, even if you're thinking about, I remember when they did the for the Black Series line, the Return of the Jedi with the Luke, was it Han, Leia, and Luke, the indoor like bunker, like those characters, and it came with the speeder bike and Poplu, the Ewok, and if it's like that was the only time you could get it. But then later on, like a few years later, like okay, now you can get that figure by itself. You don't get all the exclusive things that came with that set. But Zeb is going to be, I think he's going to be an important character moving on, and with him also being in the Mandalorian, I think for sure we'll see him. But
yeah,
maybe, I guess it'll depend on what outfit. So
right,
what he's wearing.
Yeah, and I'd imagine he'll probably be in Ahsoka season 2, so we're gonna see more of him.
Yeah, I love Zeb. Such a good character.
Yeah, he's great. Jeff, I'm kind of hoping Steve makes a guest appearance during the live stream next week. You never know. It's possible. But I'll give you a heads up. It's not going to be just a surprise. I'll give you a heads up if it's going to happen. Joseph, I wonder if they ever made a figure of that dude holding the ice cream machine from Empire Strikes Back. Yes, they did. That was Wilro Hood, the ice cream maker guy. They did make him back during Legacy Collection in 2010. And 2009, 2010, and yeah, he's a little more expensive these days to get, but he's a nice figure, and it's kind of a miracle that ever happened. But
it's so
he certainly did get made. Yeah,
love that.
And then Pico, we want him to have a tough time not opening those figures that are coming with the ghost.
Oh my gosh, yeah, I know what you mean. I did not back the ghost. I've got the Razor Crest. I've got like the Marvel Legends Sentinel, got Galactus. I backed quite a few of the other projects, but that's one I just like, man, I don't have the space. Like right now, unfortunately, the Razor Crest, it's in the box, and the Sentinel's in the box. Like I loved your collection showcase, and then seeing all those together and like seeing the scale from the Razor Crest to even like the Jabba's Dio, and it's nice seeing all that together, but like I don't have space for it, unfortunately. But yeah, I really, really wish that for all those, and I know they don't want to do this. Well, maybe just they wouldn't want to do it, so it feels more exclusive. But I really wish with the HasLab, if they came with figures and they were exclusive to that, I wish they would give you a carded one and then a loose one. Like it just could be in a little baggie. Yeah. But so many of us love to have it on card, and if it's, I don't like that. I'm with you.
No, I totally agree. That would be ideal.
Mm-hmm.
What I did with the Razor Crest is I bought just like another carded set of those figures on eBay.
Yeah.
I got a pretty good deal on them, but I mean, yeah, it would have been nicer if I didn't have to do that. Or
Yeah.
even if they offered like some like you just check a little box like, hey, if this funds, would you like to pay another I don't know, $50 to get another set of these Rebels figures? Yeah, totally I would.
Yeah.
But
And also they're making more figures with the same tooling, and I
Mhm.
think it'd be great. But I know it's not just, I'm sure everybody on the design team would love to do that, but I know there's always constraints with what they have to do and what,
Sure.
make money. I totally get that. But just from a collector standpoint, it would really be nice if we didn't have to rip into those exclusive figures that only come with it.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough to be a collector.
yeah, it is. It's really hard. People just don't understand.
All right, so we're going to move into our next topic, and that is Hasbro Pulse fan stream prediction. So this is coming up. Is it on Wednesday that they're doing this?
Isn't it 23rd? Is that Wednesday? Or is it
It's,
I'm trying to remember.
let me
Something
see.
like that.
It is on the 23rd at 11
23rd. Okay.
a.m. Yep,
Yeah.
you're right.
So
23rd at 11 a.m. Eastern time.
Mm-hmm.
So that's on Tuesday. I had to look it up. I should kind of know it's only a few days away, but I had to look it up. Yeah, so at the very beginning of this, before we went live, I put in a little question there in the chat for if anybody wanted to make predictions on what's going to happen. I think they've kind of, anything that was pipelined last year was pipelined some time ago at this point. Like the Mando like repaint wave that they're doing. The Finn and Dooku, like those all were announced at the same time. Some of those are for pre-order already. So I mean, it's kind of it's a sort of like a brand new year, new opportunity to pipeline some new stuff that we're not aware of, and maybe to show us some of those things that they did pipeline before that we haven't yet seen, like some of that Mandalorian stuff. But ultimately,
I think I would like it. I was going to say real quick, for me, I've kind of had to, I've not been as on top of what all is coming out. Like probably for at least last year, I kind of took a step back. So for me, I know there are things that are announced, even like with the G.I. Joe line. And there were some figures that like, oh, I had no idea this came out. Or this is, people have this figure. When did they announce that? And it was like 6 months ago or, 8 months ago. And so there's so many things that I've missed. I almost kind of want a recap instead of like, all right, here's what's new. Here's 3 new figures. Here's 6 new in the pipeline to be expected in the next year. I almost kind of want a recap of like, okay, what was the last thing that was basically on the shelf and what have we pre-ordered, and kind of see like where are we in this whole, because I just have lost track of vintage collection. I've got a few, mostly Black Series is the way I go, especially for using them for like toy photography and just having a larger scale for more detail. But I just kind of lost track of what's available for pre-order, and then having the archive wave where it's re-releases of things and just keeping track of that.
Mm-hmm.
I feel lost, to be honest. So anytime they announce something, I'm like, oh, that's cool. I don't think that's a re-release, but everything just always kind of feels new because I'm not on top of it as I probably should be.
It is hard to keep track. And then like a lot of the time with these pre-orders, whether it's a Black Series or vintage collection, like they'll put up a figure from a wave, and then they'll put that wave for pre-order, but they won't tell you who else is in that wave until they make like another announcement. So then it's like, Did I pre-order that already? Like, am I covered on that one? Do I need to order it again? Like it can be a little frustrating.
Yeah, I agree. I understand. And from a marketing standpoint, I know why there's like a release schedule for everything. probably a year plus in advance, 18 months, 2 years, who knows. So I get it, but also from the consumer side, it does get challenging to stay up with what it is you've actually pre-ordered or what's coming out or what comes together in a wave or whatever. But
Yep.
so much, there's just so much, even just with one expression,
Yeah, it is a lot. Predictions. So Adam says that he predicts entertainment-inspired expressions. Yeah, that's exactly what it's going to be. Jason says going to be some oohs and some ahs and a few dopes. Yeah, there may be some of that.
Hopefully in that order. Yeah.
Exactly. Hopefully in that order. Pico B1 says, I would love to see some Cantina aliens happen this year.
Mm-hmm.
JJ agrees. More aliens would be great. Pico B1 also says, the Bad Batch, please. Because, yeah, on TVC, they've only done Hunter so far.
That's crazy.
It is.
That's surprising. Yeah.
And like, I don't know. I have the figure and he's great. And I just don't know what to do with him. So he's not even on the shelf right now because he's just by himself. I mean, I could put him with some other clones, but it doesn't feel right just to put him with some other random clones. He needs his brothers. So
I totally agree. And I kind of wish it would be really awesome if where you've got like a set. I wish you could just get them all. Like they would just say, all right, here's a mega pack and it's got all of them. Like that would be nice instead of an individual release and you wait a couple of years and then here's 2 more figures and then, just because at that point the pace at which they're creating new content, it's just hard to keep up. And I know especially vintage collectors have felt this pain since the line started. Like, all right, we get one Last Jedi figure, and then we get one Return of Skywalker. It's just the Rise of Skywalker figures, but then it drops off. And you're like, oh well, who knows if we're going to get some of these figures or not, or complete a team.
Yeah.
So I wish they could do a little bit more of that, where I think people would like having the entire pack. I did that with the Rebels at the time when they did the Black Series. They kind of released all of them around the same time. I think that was nice. I really appreciated that.
That was really nice. Yeah, no, I mean, it really does kill the momentum when you have Hunter, but when did he come out? Like, it was like early last year. And then there's nothing even pipelined. So it's like, even if they pipelined, let's say Crosshair next week, Crosshair's not actually going to be in our collections probably till like the end of the year or something. So it's and season 3 of Bad Batch is coming up. So it just, it kind of stings a little bit when that happens. And like you were saying, like Rise of Skywalker, some of those other, like Solo, like we never got Kira in the vintage collection.
Yeah, that's right.
Some of those
that made your top 25. Which I think she was number 2, wasn't she?
She was number 2. Yes.
Solo.
She was number 2. Yeah, so we'll see. I see a couple other predictions in here. It looks like Britt says Kiedi Mundi, is he safe? Is he all right? Black Series, right? Yeah, I think
right.
I think I saw somebody acquired one. I don't know how, but I know I saw a picture of him in the box somewhere. He looked cool. Jeff says predicting Leia and Sabine Chopper. Mando's from season 3. Yeah, I think we're going to get to see that Leia from A New Hope. I think we're going to get to finally see what she looks like. That's my guess. We're going to get to see her on Tuesday.
Yeah.
Jeff also says solid pipelines would be Balin and or Cobb Vanth for TVC. Nice to see an update on the Ghost and packaging reveal. It would be cool to see an update on the Ghost packaging or something would be nice. It's been a bit. And yeah, Balin Skull, I mean, obviously, and Cobb Vanth, like those are sorely like lacking in the vintage collection.
Yeah.
And JJ says another clone.
I was jealous that you actually got to see the Ghost in person.
Yeah, it was cool.
It looked amazing.
It was really cool.
Yeah.
It's huge, like you were saying, though. It's like, where is it going to go? I have no idea where it's going to go. I have nowhere to put it. But
I do appreciate that they kept the collectors in mind and shelf space. That you could take off like one side, half of it, so you could put it against the wall. Did you do that with your Razor Crest?
I did.
Yeah, that's smart. So at least they're thinking about it.
And One of my gunships too doesn't have one of the wings on, so it just makes
Oh
it
yeah.
easier to display.
Yeah.
Suka says TVC should get back to content theme waves so they can hit a group all at once. That was really cool when they used to do that. A long time ago at this point, but yeah, you would get like a Revenge of the Sith wave, you get an Empire Strikes Back wave, and you kind of like create little like moments just from those figures. I'd love if they did that again, but like we were saying earlier, there's a lot of reasons with scheduling and new entertainment and stuff. And Pico V1 want to see the Black Series Hammerhead.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely
Especially
too.
with seeing Doc Ondar. I was talking with someone about Swit Picks, Spencer. We were talking, he went to Disney World and he picked up the Doc Ondar Black Series figure. And that just looks, I don't have it, but it looks incredible. So now it's like, all right, so now we got the mold, we got the tooling done. So let's see Hammerhead. I'm excited about that. And obviously, like what you're saying with the vintage collection too, like seeing more of the Cantina aliens, I'm hopeful for that.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. But yeah, I think we're gonna see that Leia. Beyond that, I don't know. I hope they pipeline Balin and Shin at least.
Yeah.
And then beyond that, I'd love to see more aliens and Cobb Banth, I think, too, would be a priority. But yeah, it'll be exciting to see. And next Friday we can come back and talk about what they actually announced. So stay tuned for that because we'll be back and we'll talk about those things.
Yeah, lots of oohs and ahs and no notes.
Right.
I want to also give them credit for the vintage collection having the army builder packs, like the 4-packs. That's been really cool to see, and the fact that they kind of have their own look, like with the box art and no windows or anything like that. You're just okay. This is specifically to be an army builder pack. I think that's really brilliant. So, we could do that. Let's get some mega packs with all these teams that we want. But I know they're doing a good job and trying. So
yeah, those are really nice to have. Well, cool. So we are coming up on our hour, Jason. So I am going to move to the next topic, which is our last topic.
Right.
New acquisitions, things that have been added to the collection recently. I will show what I have acquired since the last stream a week ago. It's not really a lot. But Jason, have you added anything to your collection lately?
Yeah, there's a few things, and I really wish that what's sitting right here, I wish I could share. I can't share it yet, but I will. It's been announced. Like I'm working on figures on the NECA line and the cartoon Turtles line, and so the Samurai Mikey and the Donatello, like Space Adventure Donatello, I'm doing the package illustration for, and I've done them for a couple of other packs as well. But this 2-pack is very special because I actually got to do the character design that they modeled the action figures from. So I desperately want to show you, but I can't because it's the packaging and the figures haven't actually been revealed together. But that's a new acquisition they sent me. I got that recently. But kind of picking up things here and there, like I was telling you, there's some things that are more like vintage stuff on card, like this. There's some other just like loose figures, some like little like McDonald's Happy Meal toys that I've just been buying random crap like that. And then I do want to showcase this because I picked up some of the Spider-Man figures, the Marvel Legends, but I also purchased from Fet Clone some head sculpts. So head sculpts that have been custom painted. So I've got this, and then also along with Andrew Garfield for my Black Series Luke.
Oh wow, that looks great.
Got that head. It doesn't look great. It's amazing.
Yeah.
I also, so again, these aren't like necessarily store-bought figures, obviously, but I've got a Rex.
Oh wow,
isn't that beautiful?
That's phenomenal.
Yeah. The likeness is incredible. So fet.clone on Instagram, if you're not already familiar, but look at this Anakin.
Wow.
So
I
I
definitely
actually
need
just
to.
did it. They're amazing. I think they're like $45, and then you pay for shipping, of course. But the quality of Palman's work is phenomenal. And I actually just finished up. I kind of have had to take a break from shooting, but I just shot the Anakin and Rex and did like some close-ups, like macro shots and portraits, and they look awesome. So I'm excited to share those. I'll share those on Instagram later. But
Nice.
those are kind of some of the more recent things. Just kind of like cherry picking things here and there. So, how about you?
Yeah. So for me, I have added a couple of things. So I know I showed this a little while ago when we got off on our little Batman tangent, but this one I did get
Yes.
purposefully to unbox because I already had it.
Awesome.
But I bought
Yeah.
another one that was like in inferior condition. And
Okay.
I know that may be a little controversial with some people, like opening like old toys, but hear me out.
They're
These are
yours. You do
toys
whatever you
that
want.
I would have bought back in the day if I could have, I mean, I had some of these
Mhm.
for sure, but I didn't have them all. And had I been able to had the resources as a kid back then, I would have bought them and I would have opened them. So that's,
Yeah.
for better for worse,
Yeah.
that's my logic. Um, I have also, so I was made aware that by Brad from the Jurassic Park podcast. Thank you, Brad. That
Hmm.
Hasbro Pulse had some really good discounts last weekend.
Oh,
So I
nice.
got this 2-pack from Indiana Jones Adventure Series. It was like $20.
How much was it? Are you
20 bucks.
serious?
Yeah,
Is it still there, you think, or is it just like
maybe.
a weekend sale?
It was
Okay.
on, I think I got it on Sunday, I want to say.
Okay.
So yeah, quite possibly. They also had this
That
was the
line is great.
last this was the last figure I needed to complete my Power Rangers Lightning Collection Mighty Morphin series.
Nice.
So I needed Mighty Minotaur. And now I have the whole Mighty Morphin. I didn't buy any of this ones in space or any of the other. I only bought Mighty Morphin because that's
Yeah.
the only one that I watched. And
Yeah.
then the last thing I got from Pulse, and I think the Minotaur was like 17, I want to say. The last thing I got from
Man,
Pulse
great
was I
deal.
got 2 more of these because they were also like $22 or something.
So good.
Yeah, so I mean, extra speeder bikes, extra scout troopers, why not?
Hmm.
So that's really all that I've added since last week.
Yeah.
But I did want to show an update on something that I have been working on. So I did go to Galaxy's Edge last October, and I
Fun.
built my first droid at Droid Depot. And since then, I've been like hooked. I made like
Yeah.
a buddy that that he goes there like every now and then, and he's able to like build stuff for me and like buy me stuff and send it to me. Um,
Cool.
and yeah, so back in November, he bought me like droid parts, and I finally finished the droid. I think I had showed it before, like in a preliminary state.
Hmm.
But I was
Oh,
finally able
cool.
to complete this guy right here.
Beautiful. I forget how big those are.
It's a good size.
Yeah.
It is a good size. So this guy right here does not have a name yet. I'm kind of thinking, because it does have an R0 head on it,
Yeah.
so it's going to be like R0. But I kind of want to theme it to the channel somehow. So,
Yeah.
uh, and I have more of these that I'm working on. This is not by far the only one. But I'm thinking maybe like ROVC or something like that.
Oh, that's cool.
Um,
Yeah.
and he does have a personality chip.
Oh, that's so cool. That's great. So how many do you have so far? How many have you built or had your friend built for you?
Well, I built the one, and
Yeah.
then I have this one. I got like 3 other ones, so I have like 5 of them right now.
Nice. Yeah. I'm
And they're
sure
all
they all look
different, like
great, like
different,
next to each other
different
too.
domes, different colors. I have all 3 of the base colors plus another white, and I also have a C series, a blue C series.
Oh, cool.
But yeah, this one's fun, and I just love the dome. This art. This was like one of the sequel trilogy like designs. It's a really fun dome. It kind of gives me like, I don't know, like it's something you could have imagined seeing the original trilogy.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
Too
it's,
clean, but yes.
I know there's
Yeah,
people
like,
out there that do weather them and make them look, like
yeah,
dirtied up. I mean, I may do that at some point, but I don't know. I kind of like the stock look. So
yeah. Well, that's cool
clean.
too. I assume with all the little parts, they're kind of interchangeable too, right? Like the domes, so
Yeah,
can
like
you swap them
you
with the
can
other
they're
ones you've
totally
got?
customizable, which is awesome. Like
Yeah.
the dome comes off easily. You can change out like these two panels. You can change out the little panels on the legs. You can change out the legs.
Cool.
You can
Yeah.
change out the middle leg. You can put the wheel from the C series in here.
Hmm.
All of these panels can be interchanged. They also have like you can buy sets of like metallic colors. And then there's
Oh,
also like you
awesome.
can buy a panel that has a tow cable for the back. You can get like the little jets for the legs. I do have
Yeah.
those. You can get the drink tray. You could get like a
Wow.
blaster.
Yeah.
There's just so many things that they offer for these. So I hope they keep like innovating on it and offering new things, introducing new colors and stuff because it's a lot of fun. It's kind of addicting. I'm finding so.
Yeah. I feel like he could be like the refreshment droid for the Cantina social hour.
He could.
Kind of looks like he's wearing a little tuxedo, ready to serve.
Yeah, he does. What do you think? He's gonna think about it.
Okay.
Okay. He's gonna think about it.
Yeah. I think he's almost there, but yeah, that'd be fun. I'll show you
Mhm.
because I haven't really done many photos in like this year. I kind of had to take a break for a little bit, but wanted to show you just with that Anakin, the head, just how I've shot it
Oh wow.
with lighting and everything. I mean, it's just wild. So this will be the photo that I post next, but then even the Rex in the shot too. But this is I really enjoy. I mean, obviously, getting the figures as they are, they keep getting better and better. Like a lot of head sculpts and maybe like the weathering sometimes. But what I really love is seeing how you can make them look even more impressive by lighting or by setting the tone, telling a story through the photography. But yeah, I'm super excited to actually have time to shoot those figures and with those updated vet clone head sculpts, they just are so cool. So
Yeah,
that'll be
for
my next
sure.
post. So
Nice. Well, that'll
yeah,
be cool. Appetite for Collectibles. Hey, Nilda, how's it going? It has a chopper droid and absolutely loves it. Nice. Yeah, they're
yeah,
fun. The only one that I haven't gotten yet is the BB unit. I haven't done any of those yet. So
yeah,
but I'm gonna wait till I go back and I'm gonna build that myself because
that's a
it's
good
fun
idea.
that somebody can do that for me, go buy me parts and stuff like that. But
Hmm.
there's no substitute for the feeling of being in there and like building your own droid. So I'm gonna wait.
It's the experience. That's
It's definitely
what
part of
makes
it.
it really fun.
One thing that is cool, though, I will say real quick, is that they are at least at the Disneyland Galaxy says they just started selling like they have this section where you can buy just parts. If you don't want to buy a whole droid, or if you have a droid and you want to switch out parts, you can buy just
Oh,
legs, just a
yeah,
dome, just a body, just a middle leg. Not for every single design, but for certain
sure.
ones. And they're only $15 a part. So you could
Oh, that's not bad
potentially
at all.
build a complete droid for $60.
Yeah,
So that's compared to
that's
a
not
hundred
bad.
with what it normally is. You don't get a remote, which
Yeah.
is the only thing. But
Oh,
you
okay.
could get that. You could operate on your phone too. You don't actually need the remote. So
Oh, that's cool. I
mhm.
didn't realize you can actually control. I mean, I guess you got the like the chips where you can give them personalities and all that, but I didn't know you could actually control them with either controller or your phone. That's even better.
Yeah, it is.
Fun.
Yeah, so this yeah. Good point, Nildo. So there is a Galaxy's Edge uh pages. There are a couple on Facebook, and I think Dano started or was administrator of one or both of them, the ones that I'm part of anyway. But yeah, those are great for
Mhm.
people always posting like their custom builds. There's some amazing stuff people do. They do some really
Yeah.
incredible stuff that I would never be able to do, but it's awesome to see other people doing it.
Yeah.
Cool.
I love just the
Well,
creativity of people, and being able
yeah,
to, for also to have the ability to have something like the Build a Droid where it is what you want it to be, or like even just like the sabers, you can build it and customize
hmm
it for you. And on top of that, seeing how other people take that further and like, okay, let's bring it home. Let's like completely repaint the whole thing, or change the accessories, whatever it is. It's so inspiring seeing other people and how they create as well. So such a fun community to be a part of, just be immersed in.
totally. So yeah, so it's been a lot of fun. Jason, I guess I want to end by just kind of showcasing your Instagram for a moment.
Oh, okay.
Because I mean, like I was saying at the top
Appreciate
of the
that.
show, you do some incredible stuff. Um,
Thank you.
and I kind of, for all intents and purposes, stopped doing like toy pictures. Just because I got so
It
busy with
can be
all
a
the
lot of
other
work.
things. But it
Yeah.
is fun. It's a lot of fun. It does require a lot of patience. But I mean, you do it so well. Like this is just
No, that's very kind of you.
awesome. What I love too is that after you did this one, you posted like the behind the scenes on how you did it.
Yeah.
Um, which is really
Last
neat.
year, last year I really wanted to dive into more of the process, and there's so many different techniques that we can explore like practically. I can do a lot of things in Photoshop. That's kind of my day job, like we kind of talked about. I'm good at doing compositing, etc. And I wanted to get back to what can we do practically in camera? And there's all these different cool techniques and tricks. And so last year, from like January to August, every month I did a new technique and explored it with different figures, different like IPs. And so I think this one was for June or July. Um, and it was just so much fun to like just explore. Like there is the Pepper's Ghost in January, where you basically can take and use plexiglass and reflect images, kind of like at Haunted Mansion ride
Yep.
at Disney, using that same kind of practical effect and using that for photography. And for me, it was fun because I could just learn more myself. But as an instructor, as you know, like it's really rewarding to be able to take what you've learned and like show others how they can use that for their own work, or for just out of curiosity. I think most people really enjoy the behind the scenes process more so than the actual image. So I enjoy documenting and sharing that just as much as actually shooting the final shot.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I mean, all of these are great. Like I love this right here, the indie like.
Yeah. So this is the I think you can see in the BTS in one of the other posts, but everything here is practical in the sense that all the ghosts, I animated those in Adobe After Effects, and I basically just kind of made what looked like ghosts flying around a black screen. And then if you go, I think maybe if you see on the next part of the carousel, or maybe, yeah. So right down below the Pepper's Ghost title to the left, this is like the setup. So this is that Pepper's Ghost technique where I've got everything I animated and I'm casting it to the TV screen that's being reflected off the plexiglass. So then through the lens, you're actually seeing all that composited in camera. And obviously like the diode, I built the rocks and all that stuff. That was a lot of work, but that was a really fun one to do. And I wanted to, Hasbro actually commissioned me to build this piece to show or take the photo of these characters. And then I wanted to, like as part of showing some of the techniques, I was like, okay, I'm going to take this further just for fun and animate those ghosts and then do an animated version during like to show the BTS, because it was just fun to play with. And people really enjoyed that. So that gave me a lot of like fulfillment creatively. So these are
Yeah,
they're so elaborate. They take so long, but the process is really what gets me excited. So
that's awesome.
yeah, I've got what I've done with these is like generally we'll try to show BTS of different shots, but then on top of
This was a
that,
good one too.
oh yeah, this was wild. This blows my mind. yeah, the BTS on this is ridiculous. But I've also spent a lot of time last year with these techniques and did pretty intensive or extensive blog posts on my website at WorkMoreOrLess.com. And so just talk more about the technique, talk about the process, talk about how I, created the shot, all the, the behind the scenes. So if you're interested in that outside of Instagram, just go to my website and there's even more like content based on like the actual producing those type of techniques. But yeah, also just enjoy like setting up figures and taking photos and not going too crazy. But yeah, it's so fun.
Yeah, have fun with it. And if you want to get fancy like Jason, he has all the instructions for doing that.
Absolutely. And if you ever want to ask me a question on Instagram or even just through my site, like feel free to, because I really do love helping people if they're trying to figure out how to do certain things. There's some vintage collection for you right there.
Yeah.
So love that scene. It was so good.
Yeah, it was so good. Nice. Well, cool. So we have your link down below. But Jason, you mentioned you also have the website. Is there anywhere else that anybody tuning in can go to follow you on online?
I mean, mostly that's where I've been able to post, and I've had Twitter or X or Threads, but I don't have the bandwidth or time to post in multiple places. So right now, Instagram is probably where I'm most active, and I've kind of had to take a little step back, but I'm still engaging with people and talking, having conversations, even if I'm not posting as often. And then with the website, anything that's a little bit more extensive or showing behind the scenes, when I've got the time, try to post that kind of content for people who want to just dive a little deeper. But those are the main places to reach me. So that's where you find me.
Awesome. Well, hey, Jason, thanks a lot for coming on the show and hanging out and talking, all these topics, talking some Batman. Like, that's awesome. I'm going to have to have you back for a special episode where we only talk those old Batman toys, because that would be fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, thanks a lot for coming on, for hanging out. It's been a blast.
Yeah. Thank you so much. You're awesome. I'm glad that we were able to like just set aside time just to talk, and instead of just like in passing. So I really appreciate it, and truly like just honored to be here and engaging with everybody too. So you're awesome. Keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
You as well. It's an honor to have you on the show. And thanks to everybody else as well who's been hanging out with us here in the chat and watching over the last hour. Definitely appreciate it. We'll be back next week. So stay tuned for that. But yeah, no matter where you're tuning in from out in the galaxy, as always, thank you for tuning in to Cantina Session Hour. We will see you next week. Be well, be safe. May the force be with you. Bye, everybody.
See ya.